Daymond John. So Daymond John is the founder of FUBU, which is a black clothing brand. It's called For Us, By Us, and he was wildly successful with that. He's obviously a successful businessman. He's one of the hosts on the TV series Shark Tank, where he evaluates other people's businesses, and he's one of the world's most sought-after keynote speakers. He's a great guy to learn from, and somebody I've watched relentlessly over the years because his knowledge into the mindset of what it takes to be successful. So without further ado, here is a compilation of wisdom and knowledge from Daymond John.
The power of broke.
The power of broke.
What is the power of broke?
The power of broke is...
Can I borrow $10?
Yeah, the power of broke is, can I borrow $10? Can I use my my relationship capital? Can I use OPM, other people's money, manufacturing, marketing, mind power, mentors? Can I use all the assets I have in front of me because I don't have money? And how am I going to get to where I want to be without any money? And that's what it is. And I didn't put it in the book just myself. I put in there 15 well-known CEOs, social media people, people like Rob Dyrdek with Fantasy Factory, or Kevin Plank, the owner of Under Armour, doing $4 billion a year, but he didn't have enough money to pay a toll when he was crossing the bridge when he started Under Armour, so he had to get a ticket. Those are the individuals I put in there because I didn't get struck by lightning. It's something that you just have to have in you.
I'm saying that if you're in a situation where you don't have access to what you need, that you can either complain about it, listen to other people, and have them tell you why you don't have it, or you can tap into that energy, that drive, and that focus, and you can maximize it. So that is the power of broke. It's the fact that you don't accept the old stories and cliches of you need money to make money, you need to know somebody, you have to have a talent, or you have to be built a certain way, or you have to have a history or a family member or something like that. None of that matters. It's all crap.
Resources, but broke can mean not feeling like you don't have the education, not feeling like you don't have the connections and the network. Is there something that an entrepreneur or a wantrepreneur can't be broke in? Is there an area that they have to start out strong? Yeah, they have to start out strong in a couple of areas. They have to start out strong with the will to know that they need to learn. They have to start out strong with the understanding that they will be stopped, fail, or have hurdles way more than anything else, but that is not going to define them. 1 mistake, 2 mistakes, 20 mistakes.
I was buying these, you know, it was kind of the in thing to buy crash cars, go and get them fixed up and resell them. And I just, you know, the math with me was no problem. I'll buy 50 of them, I'll make a profit of X amount of dollars, and I'll be a millionaire next week. Well, didn't work out like that, and I was serving all my high school friends shrimp and Red Lobster when they were coming back from college, so it was embarrassing. And I think that what changed my life wasn't the fact that I wanted to become a millionaire. What changed my life was the fact that I wanted to make these clothes for myself, for other people, because nobody respected this market. I was doing something I loved, and then all of a sudden it started to take off. Yeah, well, you know, when that passion, when that thing grabs a hold of you, and as they say, when the needle is finally in the vein and you're really hooked, it's like being in love. It's like, you know, you thought you liked somebody when you were 13, 14 years old, and, you know, that was just something new, and it was puppy love. But when you're 22, 23 years old, and you're out there sitting there making life decisions and saying, I can see myself with this person for the rest of my life, and you're getting butterflies every time you see them, that's what it is when you have a business and you have a company that you love. You can't see anything else. When I made my first million, I don't recall what I did, but what I do realize is when I made my first million, I realized how poor I really was, and poor in the sense of material worth, because when you make your first million, it takes you about $1 million to get out of the debt that you have to be comfortable. You know, you pay Uncle Sam, and then by the time you take care of Mom and a couple of people, and you know, buy yourself a decent home. I'm not even talking about something crazy, and a car and a couple of things, you're about even. So, you know, you have to treat that first million like it's going to be your last, and you often see that with athletes and people, you know, because athletes, they say 75% are bankrupt 3 years out of the league, because, you know, you think it's all going to keep coming in, and it's not. So you got to, when you take it, you got to get yourself even and move forward, you know? Being an entrepreneur, man, you know, you are the business. It's 24 hours a day. It's a hard grind, and you know, you're the last one to get rewarded. Good question. I think that some people should be asking, what are the pitfalls that they're going to face? People always just have their eye on this whole concept of rich, financial freedom, powerful, they're the boss that can hire and fire people. They should really ask, first of all, how to do it with zero capital, number one. What are the pitfalls that they're going to face, and what are the challenges, and what is it gonna take to be an entrepreneur? Do they really want to be an entrepreneur? Right. You know, I think that when I started out, I just had my concept and love of wanting to do this, but if somebody had to lay out everything that I did to get to this point in my life, I would have said I'd rather be a waiter.
Yeah.
I would have never taken on the job. I would say the first year of when you have employees and you have responsibility is where you really learn, you know, the challenges. You know, I've been fortunate enough to be the entrepreneur in residence at a university, Babson University in Boston, Massachusetts this year. And there was a book written by the President Schlesinger, Len Schlesinger, and it taught entrepreneurship. And I never thought you could be taught entrepreneurship. You could be taught business, but not entrepreneurship. And the thing that all entrepreneurs have in common is every entrepreneur makes an affordable step forward, no matter what direction it is. Then they learn from that and they repeat it. Well, I look for people who are problem solvers. I look for people who know they have a team obligation. And yes, I will acknowledge and understand that if you can do your team obligation, your specific obligation, then maybe we can start something else together in the future, because people want recognition more than they want money or sex. And it's actually, there's studies on that. So those are the type of people I want around me. You know, that's very hard, right? And everybody
looks at a jury.
Yeah, everybody thinks of, oh, you're being a boss, and you're just the person to say, you know, everybody wants to point at the boss as being somebody who just has this power. No, you don't. You're somebody who's making $10, and you say to yourself, you know what? I can make 15 if I give somebody 3 of these dollars right here. So you're depending on somebody else. So you are supposed to listen to them just as much as they listen to you. I am somebody who has a whole bunch of, I'm Batman, I have a whole bunch of Robins around me, and I become Robin as well to them. Now, how do you pick these people? Well, first of all, you have to do a list of your assets and, you know, your liabilities, right? Your assets are what feeds you, your liabilities are what eats you. Assets and liabilities can be the things that you do best, and then the other things you need to outsource. Right? There's over 28 million small businesses in this country, which create 50% of our revenue in this country, and about 25 million of them are one-man and two-woman mom-and-pop shops, right? So everything needs to be outsourced, right? So you have to find people that can do the job at the cheapest price. Actually, to be very honest, through my company over the last 20 years, majority of my staff started off as interns because they had a passion to come into the business. They busted their butt, they proved their worth. Nowadays, they have to be college and get college credits, but they moved up. And I want a person who's ready to bust their butt, and they don't care about the money, and the money then will happen. But I usually motivate them by letting them take charge of the lane they're in and letting them make those mistakes and not penalizing them for them making mistakes. Many people that work for corporations, and I'm not a corporation, I'm a family business as far as I'm concerned, they don't get rewarded for anything that, you know, when they hit their numbers, and they get penalized for when they try.
Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane. And I don't want people doing that. You know, yes, if you're going to be an accountant or a bookkeeper in my company or an attorney, you're going to need to have a history there. But if not, it's fluid. You can move. I don't care if you had a branding or marketing degree, you can move over to design and things of that nature. I just need the energy there.
Yeah. What I've learned about in talent is, first of all, I don't pay a high price for talent coming aboard. I want people who are willing to bust their butt and prove themselves, and I think we both then are a little uncomfortable. And this is how that I structure it with anybody in my company. Number one, you have an obligation to the team that you must do, and this is in your silo. Number two is, if you are able to contribute to part of the team, there is some form of compensation, a percentage or whatever the case is. And number three, if you do well enough, we will start this business together and we will be partners. Now, why do I do that? Number one, you have to have a dedication to something. Number two, you have to show that you're a team player, but you're compensated. And number three is, great people are very hard to keep, and sooner or later they will either leave and be your competition, or they will just leave, or they will be such a large cost. So if you make them a partner here, you basically take them off the market, you increase your margin and your revenue. They start teaching everybody else down the line, and it becomes a pyramid and a domino effect. And that's the way that I've always run my business. But I surround myself with a bunch of people that, you know, in my company, if you really look at it, I probably hired about 35 people that I've known since I was 12 or 15 years old. So at any given time I get out of place, they remind me.
A lot of people don't understand that advertising and marketing are two different things. Marketing is about getting the product out and the information out. Advertising generally is about buying a space for time on the radio and or magazine ad. I would say that the first steps in marketing are always the trial and error steps, and that is to find the cheapest, most effective way to get out in your local area. Let's talk about fashion. Are there local fashion shows that you can provide product to and get, you know, a feel for if people like the product? Are there local celebrities, people who are, you know, city councilmen or, you know, talent shows or things of that nature where you can provide product to? Now let's talk about the YouTubes of the world. There are everyday stars being created with 1 million, 2 million, 10 million views. There are videos that you can film with your iPhone or Android or whatever the case is that you can kind of make that homegrown, you know, commercial with your product. And you know what? You can fail 10 times because at this point nobody knows you. But as you create it, and you start to see 10 views here, 100 views here, boom, 1 million views here, that's not expensive marketing. What I do with all my companies is I say to them that the easiest thing to sell in the world is the truth. You know, back in the days it was, you know, make it, they will come, and we can put some lipstick on a pig and dress it up. With this world of transparency today, you can create the biggest lie campaign that you'd like, but one person at your office can send out a tweet and say it's all garbage, and you're over. So if you understand that the easiest thing to sell is the truth, and you know your DNA, if you put that out there, then people will understand it and people will respect it. Or at least if you lose, you know they just weren't feeling you, but you know what it was. It's not about the name, it's about people who works the brand. And the higher and the bigger a celebrity is doesn't necessarily mean anything. Because a lot of times, you know, people won't relate to them. But Suzanne Summers, you know how many Thigh Masters she sold? George Foreman, way after he lost his championship, you know how many Foreman grills he sold? When you get with people who people can relate to, you don't always look at the A entertainers. Because that guy may just take a check from you, take one picture and leave. You got to have people who are working for you, whether they're your investor, whether they're your entertainer, whether they're your strategic partner. It's about people who are ready, who see your vision, you understand what they contribute, and you work with them. I dealt with a lot of celebrities, and celebrities are very, very difficult to deal with. Their entire life, they dream and hope that they can get in front of that camera. And then after that, they have a lot of buffers and layers of people around them. Some people tell them they're the greatest, some people hate them. So it's very complex dealing with them. It's like babysitting. But what I realized is the way that I converted more of my business was not the celebrities. It was their attorney, it was their manager, it was their best friend, it was everybody else around them and those contacts, because those people move on.
I think that all of us are probably workaholics by nature, and I think that one of the biggest challenges are, at what point do you either sell the business, stop the business, share the business with somebody else, or, you know, at what point do you make that transition? That tends to be the entrepreneur's struggle. Can I make more? Should I sell out? Should I bring on partners? And I found that the businesses that I was more successful at, or the businesses that I didn't miss, were the businesses that I actually had to think about what to do with the business. I wasn't excited. I wouldn't say, "What, are you crazy?" You know, we love sharing information, and, you know, you said to me, "Come on out here and hang out," and I said, "All right," and then it turned into me speaking, and then it turned into a bunch of other stuff, and I was happy. If it was about something else, you know, if I had to think, man, do I want to do this? I should stop doing that altogether. So it's just that pivotal moment of when do we pivot and use what we have to still be successful, because I've learned in my time, in my life, that people thought I was a designer. I'm not a designer. I'm a distributor and a manufacturer. So I don't love designing. I love the art of distributing, manufacturing, and branding. And a lot of times we get stuck in the area of, no, we're supposed to do this and this is our business. That may not be your business, you know?
I read that you recently beat thyroid cancer.
Yes.
And I want you to talk to about it, because when my mom was diagnosed with breast cancer, the key for her being, healthy now was early detection.
Absolutely. So and first of all, I'm fine. I'm totally fine. I'm cancer free. I don't have an issue. When I went in, I had already gotten a checkup, right, to find out, what was going on with me. They said, hey, you probably need to pull this lump out of your throat, whatever it is. I didn't find out it was cancer until after it was pulled out. But what I realized is that so many of us watch people and we see them when it's already too late, and we go, man, I hope that never happens to me. But I want to be an example to people. When they see me running around and jumping around and doing stupid stuff, I want them to say, I want that to be me. So if there's ever something wrong with me, I get early detection, whether it's a colonoscopy, an endoscopy, it's a mammogram. If you know that you have diabetes in your family history, go get it checked out early, because then you could be like me running around, because the old saying is that a man with his health has 1,000 dreams. A man without his health only has one. Real success is health. It's access to information, and it's being able to be around your loved ones. And I was challenged with if I was going to tell people about it, because I didn't want all the, oh my God, type of stuff.
Right.
When really you were okay, right?
I'm okay.
Like you didn't want the sympathy when you were fine.
Exactly. And I know cancer is a very, very sensitive topic to a lot of people out there, but you have to check yourself out. You cannot stick your head in the sand and think it's going away. And I am as healthy as I can be. I'm going to be here to walk my little girls down the aisle when they grow up and stuff like that. And I wanted to express to people that if I had to find out the reason for my success, maybe it's to be here today to talk to people and change just one person's life, to make them go to the hospital or go get a colonoscopy or something like that, to still stay around in their families' lives.
I think the darkest side of success and fame is, number one, you don't change, but the people around you say that you've changed, and certain people around you have said you changed, and you can't be yourself no longer with your friends and some of your family. I think that the challenge of knowing that you haven't watched your daughters grow, or you weren't there for your wife when something happened, and you weren't physically there due to the lack of time. You never know what that costs you. Now, I do know individuals who are making minimum wage who still are not home, like I'm not home. So it all is the balance of, I'm not there, but I can afford the finest doctors and the things for you in life. I think also the other challenge of success and fame is, if you're a true entrepreneur and you're a business person, when you get home, can you cut it off? No matter what, are you talking to your husband or wife like they are somebody who's employed by you and your children, and can you get that soft side of you back? And I think that and again, that becomes a time management situation. Time's the only thing that we can't change.